The Brothers and the Magic Gourd. Chapter 1. The Village at the Foot of the Mountain. There is an old saying in Korea, a swallow that is saved will return with heaven's gift. A swallow that is harmed will return with heaven's curse. Most people hear this and smile. They think it is a children's story. They are wrong. This story begins in the Joseon Dynasty in a small village at the foot of a mountain no one dared name. The villagers called it only the Dark Mountain, not because it was covered in shadow, but because those who climbed it sometimes did not come back the same. At the edge of this village lived two brothers. The elder was named Nolbu. He owned the family land, the family house, and many said the family conscience, because he had taken all three for himself. The younger was named Heungbu. He owned nothing but a warm laugh, a loyal wife, and 9 hungry children who called him father. Chapter 2. The House of Cold Rice. On the night their father died, Nolbu did not weep. He counted. He counted the rice fields. He counted the storage jars. He counted the silk rolls stacked in the back room. And when morning came, he called his younger brother to the gate, not inside, but to the gate, and handed him a single bundle of cloth. "This is your share," Nolbu said. "Now go." Heungbu's wife held their youngest child. The child did not cry. Perhaps even the child understood there was no point. They walked until they found an empty field at the far edge of the village. There, Heungbu built a house. To call it a house is generous. It was walls of mud and a roof of grass that leaked whenever the sky remembered it existed. Winter came early that year. Heungbu's children ate bark soup. Then they ate the memory of bark soup. His wife wrapped the smallest ones in her own clothing and sat awake through the night, listening to the wind pry at the walls. Heungbu never complained, but heaven was watching. Chapter 3. The Swallow with the Broken Leg. Spring came slowly, as it always does when you need it most. One morning, Heungbu heard a sound on his roof, a small, frantic flutter, and then silence. He climbed up and found a swallow, its leg bent at a wrong angle, its black eyes wide with pain. Any other man might have left it. Heungbu had no medicine, no bandages, no extra food. He could barely feed his own children. But he sat there on that mud roof, tore a strip from his own sleeve, and wrapped the tiny leg with the care of a man who understood what it meant to be fragile in a cold world. He fed it from his own bowl. For 7 days, the swallow lived in Heungbu's house, perched on the lowest rafter, watching the family with its small dark eyes. On the 8th day, it was gone. The children were sad. Heungbu told them not to be. "It has its own life to return to," he said. "As do we." He did not expect anything in return. He never did. Chapter 4. The Seed that Fell from the Sky. The following autumn, just as the first frost began to silver the grass, a shadow passed over Heungbu's yard. The swallow had returned. It circled once, twice, then released something from its beak. A single seed, small and dark as a dried teardrop, landed in the dirt at Heungbu's feet. The children gathered around it, uncertain. But Heungbu knelt down and, without fully knowing why, pressed it into the earth with his thumb. By morning, a vine had appeared. By the 3rd day, it had climbed the wall. By the end of the week, the vine bore a gourd, enormous, heavy, glowing faintly gold in the afternoon light, as if something warm lived inside it. When Heungbu and his wife cut it open, they fell back in silence. From the gourd spilled rice, endless rice, filling the room, overflowing through the door. Then silk. Then gold coins that rang against each other like a song. Then timber and stone, a whole house assembling itself from inside a single fruit. By nightfall, Heungbu's family stood inside a mansion. His children were full for the first time in their lives. And Heungbu wept, not from grief, but from the unbearable weight of sudden grace. Chapter 5. The elder brother hears the news. Word travels fast in small villages. By morning, Nolbu knew. He came to see for himself, riding his horse to the gate of what had been, he was certain, a ruin. What he found instead was a house with a tiled roof and a courtyard full of laughing children. He stood at the gate for a long time. Inside him, something dark and hungry began to move. That night, Nolbu could not sleep. He lay in his warm room on his silk cushion beneath his heavy blanket and felt for the first time in his life poor. Not poor in money, poor in the way that mattered, poor in heaven's attention. He was not ashamed. He was furious. Chapter 6. The Swallow that was made to suffer. Nolbu did not wait for spring. He searched every eave, every rafter, every barn in his estate until he found a swallow's nest. He reached inside. He pulled out a fledgling young, trembling, helpless. and he broke its leg deliberately. Then he wrapped it, carefully, almost tenderly, as if performance of kindness could become kindness itself. He fed it for 7 days. He smiled at it. He waited. On the 8th day, he released it into the sky. He waited through autumn. When the swallow returned the following spring, Nolbu was waiting in his yard, dressed in his finest robe, surrounded by servants he had ordered to stand ready with empty baskets. The swallow dropped a seed. Nolbu snatched it from the air before it could touch the ground. He planted it himself, pressing it deep with his thumb just as the servants had described Heungbu doing it. The vine grew faster than Heungbu's had. The gourd was larger, darker, and it made no sound. The gourds that hold blessings hum quietly like a person thinking. The gourds that hold punishment are perfectly, horribly silent. Chapter 7, What Could Not Be Put Back. When Nolbu split the gourd open, the first thing that came out was laughter, not human laughter, the kind that has no mouth behind it. Then came the demons Dokkaebi, gnarled and grinning, swinging iron clubs, knocking down walls and shattering jars. They pulled the silk from the storage room and shredded it. They tipped the grain into the mud. Then came the debt collectors men Nolbu had never met, holding documents in his own handwriting, demanding payment for things he had never purchased. He screamed that it was impossible. They smiled and kept writing. Then came the disease, a cloud of gray air that settled over the estate like a second sky. The servants fled. The horses ran. Even the flies left. Then at last came the old woman. She appeared from inside the gourd, last of all small, bent, moving with the slow certainty of someone who has been waiting a very long time. She looked at Nolbu the way a person looks at something they have already finished judging. She said nothing. She simply pointed at what remained of his estate, and then she walked back into the gourd, and the gourd sealed itself shut. Nolbu stood alone in the wreckage. His wife was weeping. His servants were gone. His wealth, his stores, his reputation, all of it scattered like chaff in wind. He tried to close the gourd. It had no seam. He tried to call back the demons. They were already gone. He tried to pretend it had not happened. But the neighbors had heard the laughter, and the kind of story that comes with laughter like that does not stay quiet. Epilogue: The road to his brother's gate. It is said that Nolbu walked to his brother's gate on foot, which for a man who had owned 7 horses was its own kind of humbling. He knelt in the road. Heungbu came out, looked at his brother for a long time, and then did what no one watching the story expected. He opened the gate. He fed him. He gave him a room. He asked for nothing in return. Some say Nolbu changed after that. Some say he didn't. The story doesn't insist either way. What it does insist on is this: the swallow knew. Heaven always knows. And the gourds, the blessed ones and the cursed ones, were never just fruit. They were mirrors. And what came out of them was only ever what had already been inside the man who planted the seed.